Sri Lanka is known as the pearl of Indian Ocean. Ours is a blessed country, especially with the visit of Lord Buddha, not once, thrice. Similarly, that we have the blessings of other religions too, the Hinduism, Christianity and Catholicism, Islam. Our people are very religious. Now, we have suffered enough due to the wrong decisions and wrong people who govern this country. After the independence, we know that there were very decent and genuine politicians, but during the recent past, that whole system is being deteriorated. Finally, due to the ill administration and because of the rulers who were elected by the people without any capacity to rule a country, who did not have the leadership quality, they ended up this country as a bankrupt country. Now the whole country is bankrupt, the political parties are bankrupt, the whole system is in disarray. It is our duty to get together, all of us, irrespective of these political ideologies, just to develop this country. We have seen that many countries which do not have even the basic requirement for them to live or to develop their country or some materials, they are very highly developed. Why? That there are good governance, that is rule of law. In the absence of the rule of law, whatever the other subjects of the area, that you cannot make them towards the benefit of the people in the absence of the rule of law. Therefore, that I have proposed in my manifesto, in future we will have to go for some major reforms, especially to establish bicameral legislature, which we had prior to 1972 under the Salisbury Constitution. Unfortunately, so-called experts on constitutional law in 1972 abolished the system of bicameral, thereby that they abolished the Senate. At the same time, in 1972, when they enacted the new constitution, they abolished the Public Service Commission, which had been established under the Salisbury Constitution. That similarly, they did not provide alternative remedies or measures to fulfill the aspiration of minor communities as it was in the Salisbury Constitution, especially Article 29 of the Constitution, which provides a guarantee that minority people will not be affected due to the legislature's decision on making legislations. Now, we have faced many other complications, especially in the judicial system and public service. I have proposed to establish a constitutional court. Instead of Supreme Court looking into all these matters relating to interpretation of the Constitution, we have to have a separate constitutional court, as many other countries are having. I can cite one example just to insist as to how this rule of law becomes important to rule a country. Nelson Mandela is a one that who had been in prison for a period of 29 years. He dedicated for his own people. Finally, he ended up as the president of South Africa. Under the new constitution he established, he issued some delimitation regulations and gazetted. A citizen of this country petitioned to the constitutional court in that country. Then after hearing the rule, Nelson Mandela's orders are wrong and they are nullity. When that judgment was declared, the people got scared as to whether there could be any controversy, confrontation in between the judiciary and the executive. At that time, what Nelson Mandela did was, he said that he will address the nation in the night. He came to the media. He said that I exercise my powers on advice given by my officials and advisors. Now the Supreme Court has ruled that I had no such powers and my regulations are void. Now what I say to my people is that the President of South Africa also subject to the rule of law. That is the meaning of rule of law. In that context, that is what we are lacking. That is what we will have to establish. So long as that rule of law is there, that the people will have a safety in their life, they will have a very peaceful society, and in the event that there is a rule of law, that there won't be any communal or religious or lingual clashes or conflicts. To make this situation far better for the people living in our country, I, as the Minister of Justice, who accepted this portfolio after 2022 people struggle, at a time there was no leaders who were agreeable to take over this country. We came forward as a small group. Then we sought the assistance of European Union and America just to get this GSP concession, and which we were successful. At the same time, we approached International Monetary Fund. Then they also assisted us. That we have taken assistance for 16 times from the IMF. They were reluctant to getting cheated again by the political leaders of Sri Lanka. Therefore, they wanted us to comply many conditions. There was a list of over 90. Similarly, more than 60 items in the GSP. Now 80% of all these compliances were legal reforms. I, as the Minister of Justice, gave the leadership, and we passed more than 90 new legislations. This is not only for us to get the assistance from IMF and European Union. For a long lasting, law abiding society we did it, not because that IMF wanted us to do. We ourselves wanted, for the benefit of our people and to establish a righteous society, we also wanted to enact this kind of laws. Now we did it successfully, and we have now enacted more than 90 new laws and amendments. In addition to that, there are many other laws running over 50. Once all the laws are passed, then what is lacking is the rule of law. Now at least 90% of the stringent laws had been already enacted towards the establishment of a country, strong country with the rule of law. What we are lacking is such a leader. In the past, if you look at, we never had that kind of leadership in this country. We know that there were 3 exemplary characters which were products of Oxford University, that is late Prime Minister S.W.R.D. Bandaranayake, Lalit Athulat Mudali, Lakshman Kadiragama, that all were killed. That shows that we have never allowed any educated philosopher to run this country. Now with these laws, we will have to explore new avenues to enhance our productivity in the agriculture and also industrial sector. In addition to that, it is necessary that we must go for these educational reforms. That is very essential. Now as it is, the whole education system is deteriorated. Not only the system, even that the structure is not befitting for the present day requirement. Last year, Parliament appointed select committee chaired by myself to look into the reforms of the education sector. Now, after our deliberation for a period of 1 year, I presented a report which was endorsed by all members, now adopted by the cabinet also. We have proposed, instead of this existing system, that we have to go for very wider reforms. First thing is to be commenced from the early childhood education up to year 6 of a child. If that education is properly given, for the primary and secondary education is not a big challenge for such a child. When they go up to the university level, tertiary education, it is a very simple thing. Now, that opportunity have to be extended to all the children in this country. That should be the beginning of our education. And also, most of these talents of the children are decided merely because of the memory that they are having. They learn by heart and they sit for the examination. Then the whole future is decided on the basis of the marks that they obtain. But most of the children who are very brilliant in many other fields, something like that science, the technology, the engineering, those children, most of the children are not that much very capable of to learn by heart just to keep everything in mind, but their talent is not the memory but their wisdom. Our education is based on knowledge. They call it as knowledge hub. That's not what we expect. We wanted to have a wisdom hub, that's intellects. Towards that one, we will have to gain this educational system. We have proposed, instead of this existing examination system, the 50% of the marks to be given on assignment basis of the children, that is with their practical approach. The teachers can evaluate what are the talents of those teachers. They balance 50% with the existing system based on examination. This mixed system will enhance the quality of our education. At the same time, we have proposed the O-level examination to be conducted at the end of 10 years, and also 10 years of the school classes, the grade 10, and the level examination to be conducted at grade 12. By doing that, we can save the valuable time of the children, where they can use for many other beneficial things. Then we also propose to repeal this University Grant Commission by introducing a Higher Education Commission, which will consist of 3 branches. One is to govern the state universities, that is state university sector, whereas the state owns 22 universities. Then non-state universities, whereas the 36 universities have been registered in the Ministry of Education, but there are more than 300 other university branches or affiliated bodies, that there is no any control, there is no any regulation or even a registration in the government. Government doesn't know where they are, they don't know what are the qualities of them. The third branch will be quality assurance and accreditation, whereas that branch will have to take the responsibility to ensure whenever a higher educational certificate is issued, whether it is degree or otherwise, that all have complied with the required quality and standard, whether it is state universities or private universities, it makes no matters. Thank you very much. Hope for the better future.